Before this video does start up, I just want to say for some reason my mic has been acting up the last couple of days. I've been sort of messing around with it, and I don't know, it just has a weird tinging sound to it. So, sorry about the weird audio in today's video. I'm going to be ordering a new microphone straight away on Amazon. Thank you, patrons, for the support. But yeah, I'm going to be ordering a new microphone because it's just, I don't know what's wrong with it. Hello there, World of Tankers. I'm Blitz, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Amx 50B and comparing it to the T57 Heavy. Ever since both of these Tier 10 heavy tanks have come into the game, they've sort of always rivaled each other. Now, my personal opinion is I like the 57 better because of its personal attributes, but I think they are both very, very strong heavy tanks, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about both of them and which one I definitely feel is the stronger heavy. So let's get straight into it. Now, of course, if you do like this type of content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It really does help out the channel. We're almost at 16,000, which is crazy for me to believe. So thank you guys for all the support, especially you patrons out there. But here we go. Let's get straight into the game. So talking about the 50B first, what is special about this tank and what is defects? Well, we'll start off with the defects. And there's one massive defect going for it, which is the big downfall, is just the armor. It's got literally zero armor, and it's one thing that makes the vehicle fall apart in a lot of situations. It's very tall, as you can see. That's actually another thing I can say that's bad. It has an awful camouflage rating. It's so tall, in fact, that most bushes you sit in, you get spotted by the cupolas on the top of your tank sticking out of it. So that's one big downside. It's just the massive tank it is and the very little armor. Now, it actually does have a very solid upper plate and lower plate, but it's the turret. The turret is literally like 200 millimeters thick, which would be good at tier 8, but no. It's really not bouncing anything in a tier 10 match, and that's just something that really causes it to fall apart. Now, it does carry 10 degrees of gun depression, and it also has a very, very solid gun going for it, of course, as it is a clipper, but there you go. You can see the shell literally entering our turret, just a very easy shot, and that's what makes the vehicle fall apart. It's very simple things, but it really does cause it to suffer in the long run. So there we go. That is 1,200 hit points we've whipped off that Foch. Now, we didn't get to get them all out in the exact same time frame, but you can see 1,200 hit points already taken off of a tier 10 tank destroyer, one of the deadliest in the game too. And that's it. It was pretty simple. No effort needed there. Not sure what that 54 is doing, but I'll be very surprised if he's actually able to shoot that guy. He might actually. I'm not going to bother to shoot my clip there. You definitely want to always maximize the amount of damage you can get out with a clip, and I want to save the shells in it, because literally 3 clips and I've already broken 3,000 damage. Now, unfortunately, we are spotted, and that is an enemy Sheridan. I will get him with a shell. There's an M103. Let's see if we can get a tracking shell into him. There's one shell and one more to go. Just went a little high, but you can see pretty solid accuracy for the tank, and we've pretty much sat around 2,000 damage now, so all I need is one more clip, and we've broken 3,000 damage, and that's how simple it is to get damage out in a tank like this. I absolutely love it for it being just such a ferocious, not correct English there, but it's just really deadly if you can get it in the correct, scenarios. So here we go, we have the M103 side, just maybe we'll be able to get a shell into him. There we go, there's one shell. He doesn't look like he's probably going to be backing up. Actually, nope, that was a ricochet. Try one more. There we go. So that's 800 damage. It's just, I love tanks that are able to get out such a crazy amount. There you go, 2,800, so we're easily going to be clearing 3,000 this game. I'm going to be going for this ST1 here, which it has 1,700 hit points, so we're not going to be able to fully clip out the ST. But that's going to be quite a hefty amount of damage for us if we do get him out. Now, unfortunately, there is a Sheridan there, and I have to use my repair kits because we did get pretty badly hurt. I don't want to be hit by the enemy Sheridan. That's the only player I don't want to be hit by. However, we have quite a hefty chunk of hit points, and the enemy team really doesn't have a lot left. And unfortunately, no clue how that did not penetrate that guy, but we're going to penetrate our next 2 shells, so I'll be happy with that. There we go, 2 tracking shells. That's another 800 hit points whipped right off of an ST1. You know, 800 hit points is more than tier 10 tank destroyers, and that's what I feel just makes it such a strong vehicle. Second of all, it has a very large amount of hit points at 2,500. Now, it didn't used to have the largest hit point pool, but after it got this hit point buff, and not to mention it received a, I think it was a reload buff as well. It just really turned into an extremely deadly tank. You can see there it wasn't necessarily one of my best matches in this tank, but we really didn't do that much, and 4,121 damage later, that's a pretty solid game. I'm very happy in this tank. In fact, this is one of my highest average damage tanks in the game, just because it's able to get damage out. Just, whoops, took 1,200 off you, let's go to a different position. That's why the 50B is just such a solid tank in the correct scenarios. If you had seen me push on, let's say, mines, and I had to push up the hill to support my team, well, unlike the Kronwagen, this tank, as I said, has no armor, so I would have been completely wiped off the map in the 50B if I was on a map like mine. So I would have had to play a lot more strategically, figure out where I'm going before, read the lineup, where that game I just figured, you know what, I'll go medium, I'll whiff a couple shells off. Now, the 57 Heavy does actually have armor, but it's not much. The turret, it's about 230, which, yeah, it's an improvement, but it's not much of an improvement. You're still going to be stricken of your hit points if you're played in the wrong scenario. Now, I might push down to the heavy spot, but this tank is actually an extremely accurate heavy. You can see how quick that turret traverse speed is. I think it's actually the quickest out of every tier 10 heavy in the game, and it's also got one of the best on-movement dispersion values, which it's barely blooming at all when I am sitting still. You'll see here, it's excellent on the aiming time. It's one thing that makes this tank really, really nice. The French tanks are a little bit longer on the aiming time, and not the best on dispersion, but the 50B actually has some very, very solid numbers going for it on accuracy. So that's one really nice thing going for it. That IS-7 is pushing very, very aggressive over there. And since the Sheridan hasn't spotted anyone, that means that they're probably not pushing super aggressive there, but here's a Mowry. That's one shell out. I want to be careful here, of course. Unfortunately, he did tap us, but let's try and get that trap wheel. No, we did not. So this is where the 57 is going to fall apart. Hopefully, this Mowry does not shoot me. He's going to. Oh, there you go. You can see I got no clue where he ricocheted off our tank. Actually, a very weird spot. Hit the weirdest part of our armor that should not have bounced. But it did, which is very lucky for us. We have the IS-4 over to the side here. Let's load some heat shells, and let's penetrate them on this poor IS-8. Oh, that was an unfortunate bounce for me. Let's load an AP shell for the last one. I should have saved my shot there. That was definitely me a little trigger happy. But unfortunately, there goes my last teammate that side. It looks like we're going to lose this match. But we've already gotten out 2,200 damage or something like that, which is a pretty solid number. There's the 183, who might just finish off our teammate there. I want to back up. Maybe, just maybe. No, that was an unfortunate shell. So we have the Leopard here. Let's get one shell in. Come on, two shells. There we go. Now, he probably thinks that we still have a shell in our tank, which means that I can actually... Oh, no, I can't. That's very unfortunate for us. So, say goodbye to my hit point pool. Oof, we ricocheted it. You can see we actually do ricochet quite a few shells. I'm using the armor effectively here. So, the 263 is a clip. So, I'm going to clip out the 263. There's two shells, and goodbye. There we go. So that was literally an entire tank just wiped right off of the map. And unfortunately, we probably are going to die here, as you can see. But we did do a solid job. I'll play one more game in the tank. We'll see if we can get a better game, depending on how this battle went. But I'm still pretty sure we got a very nice amount of damage. And we were able to clip out that object 263. If I was in the 50B, I'm not sure if I would have actually been able to get that last shell in, because it's got a second longer to get that clip off. And while that doesn't sound like the biggest difference, it really makes a difference, that half a second, because when you're trying to track somebody, with the 50B, you know, somebody that is a little bit slower on the reflexes, yeah, 3 seconds, you've got plenty of time to fix your track and go back into cover. With 2.5, you have to be very, very quick on fixing your track, but there we go. That was a nice 4,000 damage game. We'll do one more battle in the 57 just to see if we can get a victory out. If not, you know what, we still did 4,000, so I'm very happy with that. But here we go, let's see. So this is actually a very tough map for the 57 because, as I said, does not have the best armor. I'm very surprised that we bounced that many shells in the game there. Do not get tricked by this tank. I just want to show how poor the armor profile is as well. I've played this tank a lot of times, pushed it very aggressive, thinking I'm going to be fine. Look behind me, I've got no teammates, and boom, you're dead, because it's got about a 19-second clip reload, which is a very long time, but when you think about it, you've got about the same reload as a 183, and, it's not that bad. So here we go. Alright, let's get into position. So we got our teammates going this way. but I want to be careful. I actually pushed here earlier today in my 50B in this position, and I got absolutely wrecked. So we've got the IS-4. That's one shell in. I'm going to reload my clip already. You'll notice I'm always reloading the clip at certain times because I know I'm not going to get another shell out on that IS-4 without getting hit myself. So why just sit there and bother to have 2 shells in the clip when I can reload the entire clip and get that 3rd shell back? So what I'm thinking right now is if there's nobody over here, and there isn't, I might be able to push right on the side of this IS-4 and just whip a massive chunk off his hit points. We'll see. But I definitely want to be careful. I've got teammates that are covering me, so let's go in here. This is going to hurt the IS-4. So let's go up behind him, and let's whip those HPs right off of him. So that's 429. Let's get 2 more out, and kaboom. So that is literally 1,200 hit points stricken of an entire... Like, you can see, it hurts a crazy amount. And there we go. We have made the IS-4 low enough so that my team will push on him. So that was a very good move for us. That was a very... it was good. There's not much else I can say there. But we've got the 54, who is now rushing us, which was a very bad time for him to rush us, because we now have 3 shells. And while we do have a damage aimer, I don't think that's going to matter too much, as he's pretty close to us. So there we go. Literally wiped an entire, like, almost the entirety of a full health medium off of the game, and that's what makes this tank so deadly. 10 more seconds, and we'll be able to take off more than half of a Jagdpanzer's hit point pool. Right now, he is completely clippable for our tank, so let's see if we can get him taken off the game. Let's load a heat shell. There's 1 shell, and who do we have next? We've got the T54, not T54, T92E1, and the E100. Now, I could have reloaded my clip, but I think 2 shells is enough, so I'm just going to push it on this E100 here, see if we can finish him off. This was a much better match for the tank here, and you can see, just if you played in the right scenario, the gun is crazy on the tank. So here we go, E100, let's get 2 shells off into him. There is 1, and let's get our 2nd off, and maybe a nice little ram if... Yeah, you know what, I'll take that ram. We did a little bit more damage than I expected us to, but there you go. That was 3 very solid games and all 3 clippers here. In my opinion, I do like the 57 better. I think just because it has the ability to get the shells out quicker, it's a better tank. However, I also think that the 50B, if played in the right hands, is an extremely strong tank. If you ever notice, big Twister tournaments sometimes, big clans like Pramo, Void, RGN, all those clans will run 50Bs. They'll run platoons of them because they can get into the bases, they can do the work, and it's a crazy amount of damage out. So I personally like both of them, and I would say that if you don't have either of these tanks, I would definitely suggest to go for one of them. I don't know why the 57 is such a struggled vehicle. It has one of the lowest win rates out of every tier 10 heavy in the game, which is kind of weird. When you saw there, it was pretty much a breeze for both battles there. Didn't require much skill, and I was able to get out 4,000 and almost 4,000 again in the second game. Same for the 50B. It's another very strong tank, but a lot of people struggle with it, although that one sort of makes sense why. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Of course, if you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It really does help out the channel. But other than that, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.